Many people know the tragic story of Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, one of William Shakespeare's most famous and widely studied plays. However, few are aware that this masterpiece was inspired by an ancient Norse legend, the story of Amleth. Long before Shakespeare's pen brought Hamlet to life, a similar tale was recorded by the 12th century Danish historian Saxo Grammaticus in his great work, Gesta Danorum, The Deeds of the Danes. This chronicle, written in Latin, is considered Denmark's earliest known history and contains myths, legends, and real historical events. Among these tales lies the gripping story of Amleth, a saga of betrayal, deception, revenge, and destiny. Amleth's story is one of survival against all odds, where intelligence and cunning proved to be mightier than the sword. His life was shaped by a brutal act of treachery that stole his father from him, forcing him to walk a perilous path toward vengeance. Unlike Shakespeare's Hamlet, who is often seen as a character paralyzed by indecision, Amleth is driven by calculated patience. He does not waver. He plans, he waits, and when the time is right, he strikes. So, let's step back into the world of ancient Denmark and unravel the legend of Amleth, the forgotten prince who inspired one of literature's greatest tragedies. Our tale begins in the kingdom of Denmark, where the mighty King Rorik ruled with wisdom and strength. In those days, it was common for kings to appoint noble warriors as rulers of different regions, and so Rorik entrusted two powerful brothers, Horwendel and Foam, with governing the land of Jutland. These brothers, though bound by blood, were as different as fire and ice. Horwendel, the elder brother, was a warrior of unmatched skill. He was fearless in battle, a leader whom his men followed without question. His bravery earned him great fame, and his greatest victory came when he defeated the King of Norway in single combat. This triumph solidified his place as one of Denmark's greatest champions, bringing peace to the land and earning the respect of King Rorik himself. As a reward for his valor, King Rorik granted Horwendel the hand of his daughter, Queen Jarutha, in marriage. Their union was a joyous one, and soon after, a son was born, Amleth, a boy who would one day carve his name into the annals of history. While the kingdom celebrated Horwendel's victories and the birth of his heir, his younger brother, Foam, watched from the shadows. Unlike Horwendel, who won glory on the battlefield, Foam was a man of cunning and ambition. He resented his brother's fame, ending his rise to power and the love he received from the people. In his heart, jealousy festered and grew into something dark, an insatiable hunger for the throne. Foam could not bear to see his brother rule while he remained second in command. He convinced himself that he was the better leader, the true heir to power. And so, he devised a plan that would change the course of Amleth's life forever. One fateful night, when Horwendel least expected, Foam struck. He murdered his own brother in cold blood, staining his hands with the blood of his kin. But he did not stop there. Foam seized the throne of Jutland, declaring himself its rightful ruler. He took Queen Jarutha as his own, forcing her into marriage and securing his grip on power. It was a calculated move. By marrying the queen, he strengthened his claim to the throne, ensuring that no one would dare challenge him. The kingdom fell into silence. The people, fearing Feng's wrath, dared not speak out against him. Those who had once sworn loyalty to Horwendel now bowed to his murderer, not out of respect, but out of fear. But amidst this treachery, there was one who could not forget, Amleth. The young prince, barely past childhood, had lost everything, his father, his honor, and his place as heir. But he knew that his uncle would not stop at one murder. Foam would never allow Horwendel's son to grow into a man who could one day avenge his father. Amleth understood one thing: if he was to survive, he had to outsmart his uncle. And so, he devised a plan so brilliant, so unexpected, that it would allow him to live under the very nose of the man who had stolen his father's life. He would pretend to be a fool, a simple-minded, harmless man and unworthy of suspicion. From that day forward, Amleth abandoned all signs of reason. He roamed the halls of his uncle's castle, speaking in riddles and gibberish. He flailed his arms wildly, laughed at inappropriate moments, and rolled in the dirt like a lunatic. His clothes became tattered, his hair unkempt, his eyes vacant. Feign, at first, remained cautious. He had seen clever men disguise their true intentions before. But as time passed, he grew convinced that his nephew had lost his wits. After all, no sane man would act this way, especially not a prince. But Amleth was no fool. Beneath his mask of insanity, he observed everything. He listened. He learned. He waited. Feign, though convinced of Amleth's madness, could not shake the feeling that something was amiss. He decided to test his nephew's mind. First, he sent a beautiful woman to seduce Amleth, believing that lust would reveal his true nature. But Amleth, ever the strategist, whispered words to her in secret, making her swear an oath of silence. In public, he remained the fool, and Feign's spies saw nothing unusual. Still suspicious, Feign arranged for one of his men to hide in the queen's chamber while Amleth spoke with his mother. If Amleth was sane, surely he would drop his act when alone with her. As Amleth entered the chamber, he sensed the presence of another. With a sudden movement, he drew his sword and struck beneath the straw on the floor, killing the hidden spy instantly. But Amleth was careful. He disposed of the body in the most gruesome way, boiling the flesh and feeding it to the pigs. When Feign's men searched for their fallen comrade, there was no trace. Amleth had outwitted them all, but his time to act was approaching. Years passed, and the kingdom had long accepted Amleth as a harmless fool. But one night, a great feast was held in celebration of Amleth's supposed death in England, a false rumor he had spread himself. The guests, drunk and unsuspecting, feasted and laughed, unaware that their doom was near. Seizing the opportunity, Amleth locked the doors of the great hall and set it ablaze, trapping Feign's allies inside as flames devoured them. Then, he stormed into his uncle's chamber. Feign, roused from his slumber, reached for his sword, only to find it nailed to its scabbard. Amleth had anticipated everything. Now powerless, the usurper faced the boy he had sought to kill for years. But Amleth was no longer a boy. He was a warrior, an avenger. With a single strike, he drove his sword deep into Feign's chest, avenging his father at last. The people of Denmark, witnessing his triumph, hailed him as their true king. Though Amleth's reign was short-lived, his tale endured through the ages, inspiring Shakespeare's Hamlet centuries later. But while Hamlet is often seen as a man paralyzed by doubt, Amleth was a man of action, an embodiment of Norse cunning and determination. The question remains, was Amleth a real figure lost to history, or merely a legend shaped by storytellers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more legendary stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay legendary.